testing is in session. Our learning targets. We're focusing on driving, how to feel comfortable in the car, and what you need to do. Let's go ahead and get it. First, I'm going to start out answering some questions that people have. If you have questions, go ahead and put them in. Steering wheel recommendations. Well, first, the steering wheel is a round shape. And it really depends on how long your arms are, how short your arms are, how tall or short you are. I recommend you being no closer than 12 inches, 10 inches from the steering wheel because there is an airbag in the middle. You can have your hands at 9 and 3. You can have your hands at 10 and 2. You can have your hands at 7 and 5. And speaking of 7 and 5, the National Highway Safety Transportation, which is a national organization, and I'm centered in the United States, says 7 and 5 is the safest position for reverse parallel parking, making right turns where you're looking into the turn, or making left turns. We are aware that there is an airbag in the center of the steering wheel. We are also aware you should not be crossing your arms. You will get different information based on whatever scholarly resource, but it's got to be peer reviewed. When I give you information, I take the time to do my research. Next, help me trends. I do a lot of tutorials on parallel parking, passing your road test, 3-point turnarounds, U-turns, how to merge on the expressway, how to pass your road test, what you do if you have anxiety, how to deal with someone who has ADHD. Because I'm a state certified driving instructor, I have access to information, and I can make that information available to you either in a one-on-one call, a Google Meets, or a live situation like this. So you need to put in your questions, and you need to let me know where you are in the world. Are you in the United States? Are you in the UK? Are you in Africa? Are you in Asia? Are you in Australia? The next question, step-by-step skill tutorials. From what I've seen in the questions I get, parallel parking. We want to line our car up. We want to put the car in reverse. You want to turn hand over hand all the way to the right. Remember, I'm from North America. We turn hand over hand. There's nothing wrong with hand over hand. A lot of people want to argue and say, but I have a scholarly source. So you're backing it at a 45 angle. Then once you get in that 45 angle, you want to turn your wheels back all the way to the left. The rear will go in about 12 inches or less away from the car or the curb. Then you turn back the other direction. Your car should be parallel to the curb at about 12 inches or less. The next thing I see as a skill tutorial is how to make U-turns. A lot of people are confused. First, you need to check, is there a sign to the left, in front of you, to the right? If there's no signs and it's clear of traffic, you can make a U-turn. You want to come up. If I'm making a U-turn to the left, I turn on my left turn signal. I check my mirror. I look over my shoulders. If it's clear, then I gently turn hand over hand. The car will go in a U, and I'll go the opposite way. What is a U-turn good for? If there's an accident in front of you, if the road is closed, if there's a flood. When are some times when a U-turn is illegal in a downtown area, in a small, narrow street, then you will have to do a 3-point turnaround. More on that later. What is the most important thing when driving? And this is dealing with the truck runaway ramp. Well, first, I'm not a truck driver. I have clients who are truck drivers. So typically, when trucks are going down hills, they should be downshifting into 17, 16, 15, 14, but a lot of beginning drivers ride those brakes. What happens, those brakes on the truck heat up and then they fail. So literally you have fire where the brakes are, and literally the tires and brakes and everything is on fire. So that truck runaway ramp, I'm having a great day, thank you. The truck runaway ramp is a ramp that trucks can go down, and then it goes all the way up a hill to slow the truck down. They have gravel there, they have barrels with sand, barrels with water to slow this semi-truck down. Then it costs anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000 to tow that truck out and then take it to the repair shop. The next question I have, how do you identify How do you identify car tips and tricks? You want to take care of your car. You want to clean your car once a week. Wash it off, vacuum it out. And if you really get inspired, you need to take it through the wash and then get it waxed. You want to wash the car free of any dirt, grit, anything in the air, bugs, bird poop, because that will sit on the paint and then it will eventually burrow into the paint. And then if you dry it off with a dry rag, or if it's not clean, you'll have swirl marks. So you want to make sure you wash your car at least once a week, clean it out, vacuum it out so it smells good. Because if your car is dirty, people will associate a dirty car with you. The next question I have, things to know for driving. You want to wear thin sole shoes. Crocs are pretty good. I'm not sponsored. Converse are pretty good. The GoDaddy, those shoes are pretty good. The Hey Dude shoes are pretty good. Those are thin sole shoes that allow you to feel, let's pretend this is your brake. We know it's a stapler. When you're squeezing your brake, you want to use, this is the ball of my hand, you want to use the ball of your foot. You want to be able to feel the brake. A lot of beginners don't wear thin sole shoes. You want to wear thin sole shoes so you can feel the gas and brake. Next, the road test. It varies from Ohio, Texas, Florida, the UK. Here's some of the basic things you need to be aware of the road test. They want you to know the rules of the right-of-way. Beginning drivers tend to confuse stop signs, and we're going to talk about stop signs. They tend to confuse stop signs with yield signs. Okay? So what does this mean? You do a rolling stop through a regulatory sign, which is red and white. So on your stop signs, you want to stop for a minimum of 3 seconds. And we're going to show you this. So here is your regulatory sign, stop, S-T-O-P. So you want to stop for a minimum of 3 seconds. In the USA, but a stop sign is a stop sign around the world, whether it's in the UK, Australia, Japan, Germany, you have to stop, okay? Minimum of 3 seconds. Next, we have the yield sign. Yield means slow down, you look left, you look right. If clear, you proceed with caution. Keep putting those questions in. If this is bringing you value, give it a thumbs up. Next, the driving theory test. It's a test in the UK. You could say it's here in the United States too. They're testing the theory of driving. Do you understand signs? These are regulatory signs. Stop, speed limit, yield, do not enter. These are your warning signs. They are yellow background with black words. I have a question about regarding the license, put it in. And then these are your guide signs. This is hospital. This means interstate. This is recreation. They're brown and white. They're broken down by primarily 3 groups. We have our guide signs. We have our warning signs. This means stop ahead. It's a stop sign ahead. This means school zone crossing. This means pedestrian. So when in U.S. you get your driver's license, once you can drive a Ferrari, it really depends on you. If you have the money and capabilities to drive a vehicle like that, by all means drive it. But typically, you have to have a lot of money to have a car like that. The insurance is very high, and the maintenance costs, the tires, the brakes, tuning the engine. People who have supercars like that are not worried about money. So if you have money like that, go ahead and drive it and let me know. So you have to know these signs. If you don't, you're going to get tickets, you're going to get points, and your insurance will go up. So we have our regulatory, we have our warning, and we have our guide. I'm continuing to stay on the questions. Tips for new drivers. Learn the road signs. What is our learning target? I'm a state certified driving instructor. I want to welcome you in. Testing is in session. We're learning about new tips for beginning drivers. I'm answering questions. We're going to go a little bit deeper. This is a traffic light. They have these all over the world. Red means stop. If you're making a right turn, you have to stop. You look left, you look right. If it's clear and there's no sign to your right or left, it depends on where you are in the world. If it's clear, then you can make a right turn. A lot of beginners don't stop. They do a rolling stop, and then that's automatic failure. Let's talk about a yellow light. If you can stop in 3 seconds, 1001, 1002, and 1003 safely, you should stop. If you can't stop and you have to slam brakes, you should proceed with caution. Next, I want to talk about the green light. Let's talk about this green light. Green does not mean go. Green means you look left, you look right. People run lights. Let's continue. Free driving lessons. Well, there are no free driving lessons. It costs, I'm a professional, my rate is $150 an hour. That's what I charge. I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach adults, I teach teens. If you're learning how to drive and you want to learn how to drive, you need to reach out to me. I'm certified in the Midwest. And you want an instructor who is certified. There are instructors who are certified in the UK. They can't teach in the United States. There are instructors certified in the United States. They can't teach in the UK. We have international rules. We still talk about driving. We still teach driving. Car detailing tips and tricks. You want to make sure you wash your car once a week. If anything, maybe once a month. If you live in a dark, dusty area, you want to wash it off. Once you wash it off and clean it off, then you want to get a nice coat of wax on the car to protect the coating of your car. Skill tutorials. I do skill tutorials on test prep because I'm talking about the test right now. Next, we're talking about name this sign. All of you are watching. I need you to name this sign right now. I'm pointing to it. Name this sign. Show me you're listening. Name this sign. As you will name this sign that I'm pointing to, I'm going to talk about some information. Your road test is about 45 minutes. They're going to look at your vehicle when you first come over. They're going to ask you to turn on your blinkers, left and right blinker. They're going to have you tap your brake lights. Your windshield cannot be cracked. Your car needs to be in good operating condition. You need to have about a half a tank of petrol. In the United States, we drive primarily automatics. I need you to identify this sign that I'm pointing to. Show me that you're listening. Identify this sign that I'm pointing to. They're going to check to see you have the correct documents. Then once you have those documents, they'll put all your driver's license information in. Then you're going to be taken to an area to work on your parking. You're going to do a stop line where you drive up to a stop line and stop. The front end cannot go past a certain line. Then once you pass that, you're going to do a reversed back end park, like backing into your driveway. Then once you master that by not hitting cones or not hitting flags, then you're going to do the parallel park. In the parallel park, this fails most students. You have up to 5 minuses. Remember, every area in the United States and the UK and Australia and India and around the world, UAE, is different. You need to look at your whatever driver must know. You need to look at the DMV to find out what is needed to pass your test. I asked all of you who are coming in to tell me what this sign is. You should be able to tell me what this sign is. I asked you to type it in. As you're typing it in, let's talk about 3-point turnarounds. This is you pulling in your driveway. If you're going down the street and your driveway's on the left, you're going to turn on your left blinker. Your left blinker, left is down. You'll pull in the driveway. Then you want to reverse out, go in the opposite direction. Then you pull forward. Congratulations, you just did a 3-point turnaround. You need to know how to master 3-point turnarounds, U-turns, so you can have good maneuverability. How do you practice your maneuverability? You practice your maneuverability in your neighborhood, in a parking lot, an area that is comfortable for you, because a lot of beginning drivers will do light traffic light driving. What does this mean? You're going to go from school to home. You're going to go from home to maybe your job. You're not going to go on the interstate yet. You're not going to a downtown large metro area, Metro Detroit, downtown Detroit, Michigan, downtown Houston, Texas, downtown Los Angeles, California. These are huge metropolitan cities, and as a result, you will not reach your goal and be successful. You have to reach your goal, and you need to be able to adapt. I ask you to identify this sign. This is a regulatory sign. This is a yield sign. All of you as drivers must know your signs, whether you're in the United States or whether you're in the UK or Australia. Yield means slow down. If there's a car and they don't have a sign, you need to slow down and let them walk by, or pedestrians. Stop. I talked about stop signs. STOP. You as a beginning driver, you need to stop for a minimum of 3 seconds. Allow traffic to exit from the left, exit from the right, check for pedestrians. If clear, you proceed. This is a school zone. There's no crosswalk. You as a driver, slow down. Little kids are going to school. They don't understand the dangers of a car. You are an adult. Getting your license doesn't make you an adult. Learning to do adult things. Next, this is a warning sign of a stop sign ahead. I'm taking the time to explain this. This will help you on your knowledge test. This will help you in your driving test in the United States. If you have questions, put those in. Next, this is a guide sign. This means hospital in the area. It's blue with a white H. Hospital. So you as a driver have to know this. What is our learning target? We're talking about beginning drivers. We're preparing you to take your knowledge test, your theories test. I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. We're still answering questions and going through the lesson right now. We have identified proper steering wheel placement, having your hands at a 9 and 3, a 7 and 5, 7 and 5, based upon the National Highway Safety Transportation System. And all of you who are watching, tell me, how do you hold a steering wheel? Are you holding it at 9 and 3, 10 and 2, 11 and 1, 8 and 4, or 7 and 5? There are a lot of numbers, but you have to work. I have very long arms. You want to have your hands placed on the wheel where it's comfortable for you. It's got to be comfortable so you can turn that wheel and do reverse parallel parking, do 3-point turnarounds, do U-turns. If you're too close to the steering wheel, that's not really comfortable, and it's also dangerous because there's an airbag in the middle. We talked about car detailing tips. Wash your car once a week if possible. If you can't, maybe once a month. You want to vacuum it out. You want to make sure you change that cabin filter. If your car has a really weird smell, change the cabin filter. We're talking about signs right now. This is a prohibitory sign. This means no left turn. You need to understand what this means. If you have a red line through and a circle, this is prohibited. You cannot do it. Another sign, this is a regulatory sign. This means do not enter. You'll see this in downtown areas, one-way streets. You'll see this on the ramp merging on the expressway if you're going the wrong way. This is a warning sign. This tells us that there's a lane reduction to the left. You need to get over to the right. These signs are intricate signs, whether you're doing your theories test, your road test here in the United States, or any test around the world. When you're an instructor, your job is to help people and teach them and coach them. Next, I'm going to go over some more signs. I made a video this morning. This is a chevron alignment sign. Thank you for the thumbs up. This is a chevron alignment sign. You'll see this on really sharp roads. If it's on the left, there's a curve going around to the right. If it's on the right, there's a curve going around to the left. These signs are on the opposite side. You must know these signs. This is in the center of the road. This means left turn only. You cannot drive straight. This sign is a warning sign telling us you need to be at 25 miles an hour on the ramp, the exit ramp. If you're over 25, you're going to spin out and lose control. This sign means keep to the right, number 19. There's a physical obstruction. You have an arrow. You want to keep to the right. This is roundabout. They have this in the United States. They have this in the UK. They have this in Africa, in the UAE. God bless you. You need to know about roundabouts. You yield to traffic already in the roundabout. If you're going straight through, you do not need a blinker. If you're making a right just before you get in, you turn on your right blinker. If you're making a left, yield, check traffic in the roundabout. If there's traffic in there, slow down. Try not to stop. You proceed in. What is our learning target? We're talking about beginning drivers. We're preparing you for your road test. We want you to become good drivers. It takes work. I'm your instructor. This is me. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. We're answering questions about driving. Some of the questions you look at, U-turn on the driving test. In the United States, we do not do U-turns on the road test. We're making right turns. We're making left turns. We're working on parallel parking. We're merging on and off the expressway. Every country is different. How do you make a U-turn? First, you check to see if it's legal. Then you want to make sure you actually have room to do your maneuver. You want to check your rear mirror. Is it clear behind you? Is it clear ahead of you? If I'm making a U-turn to the left, I turn on my left turn signal, which is down. If I'm driving in the United States, my steering wheel is on the left. If I'm driving in the UK, Australia, India, my steering wheel is on the right. So I'm driving in the United States, I turn on my left blinker, there's no sign, I'm in a downtown area, it's clear in front of me, it's clear behind me. I'm turning my wheel and I'm looking where I'm going. Congratulations, you just performed a U-turn. The next question, we were asking questions about the truck runaway area. Here in the United States and around the world, there are a lot of roads that have hills. There are a lot of states that have hills. Truck drivers are going uphill and downhill. Unfortunately, some younger drivers are downshifting to 15, 14, 13. They're going too fast. So you have to squeeze your brakes. What happens, those brakes heat up, they catch on fire, and then the truck does not have brakes. So there's a truck runoff. It's a downhill, uphill slope that the truck and trailer can go up to slow the speed of the truck down. Usually there's gravel there, there's barrels with sand, there's barrels with water to slow that speed of that truck down, carrying 60,000, 80,000 pounds. Then there's a call to the emergency towing service. It's anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 to tow that rig out. So those truck runaways are there for safety. Car care tips and tricks. The first thing I would say, check your air pressure at least once a week in your tires. Check it cold. If you just joined in, I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. Our learning target, we're talking about truck runaways. We're talking about air pressure in tires. And air pressure is even more important in semi-trucks, 80 pounds, 110 pounds. Most passenger tires are 28, 30, 35 pounds. You need to open the door up, look at the label on the inside of the door, and that will tell you the manufacturer's recommendations for air pressure. Or if you're not sure, look on the tire itself. Next, we were talking about road signs. This is a regulatory. This means one way. Regulatory signs are red and white. This is a warning sign. It's triangular in shape. This means traffic is merging from the right. You need to be aware. This is a regulatory sign. This tells you train ahead. You need to be aware. This means two-way traffic. You as a driver need to be subscribing. You need to be watching this content because I'm taking the time to give you a virtual lesson to prepare you for your test. We're going to talk about defensive driving because that's a big part of driving. The theory test, the road test, you have to be a defensive driver. What is defensive driving? Every driver should develop a proactive driving approach intended to avoid potential conflicts they deal with. So what does this mean? You're in a parking lot. Someone backs out. Go slow. You're in your neighborhood. A kid runs out. Go slow. The PDA, predict, decide, and act. The PDA method is the primary tool used by proactive drivers to avoid potential hazards. It allows them to get the big picture. What is the big picture? You're in a parking lot. You see everything around you. What is the big picture? You're driving on the expressway. You see traffic ahead slowing down. What is the big picture? You're driving in your neighborhood. You see people backing out. You as a beginner have to understand the big picture. What is our learning target? I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. If you have questions, you put those in. We're talking about the predict, decide, and act. A proactive driver will adjust their visual search. You're looking left, you're looking in the middle, you're looking right, you're checking mirrors. If you've seen me do my content, I always talk about keeping space. You want to have good speed, good space, and a smile. I want you to feel comfortable when you are driving. Many of you need to tell me where you are. Are you in the UK? Are you in the United States? Are you in the Middle East? Type it in. I want to know where you are from. I'm in the United States. I'm in the Midwest. There are great teachers in the UK. There are great teachers in India. There are great teachers in Africa. We are blessed to have great instructors. You need to be sharing this with your friends. We're talking about proactive driving. In the urban driving environments, the driver's visual search pattern should be quick and focused, closer to the vehicle due to overabundance of nearby potential hazards. We're talking about kids, we're talking about cars, we're talking about pedestrians. Defensive drivers also eliminate or try to greatly reduce any potential distractions. Your cell phone, passengers, before you drive. Tell your friends, hey, I'm trying to drive. I'm trying to protect us. I'm trying to get us to downtown Detroit. I'm trying to get us to downtown Houston, Texas. I'm trying to get us to downtown Los Angeles, California. You as a driver owe it to your passengers. You need to think of, I'm in charge of the car. I got to make sure we're safe. I got to tell my friend, be quiet, turn down the radio. I don't want to see the cat video. I'm focusing on driving. That's your number one responsibility. Thank you for the thumbs up. Your responsibility is to ensure safe travels. If your friends are too loud, tell them, knock it off. I'm trying to learn and I want you to be safe. Low traffic driving environments. Children unexpectedly run out. You as a defensive driver, cover that brake. Next, pedestrians entering the roadway, downtown area. A vehicle unexpectedly backs out, tap that horn. An object like a ball entering the roadway. I gave you some real life situations. I want you to enjoy this. Remember, I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. Our learning target is new drivers. We talked about semi-truck runaways. We talked about U-turns, 3-point turnarounds, the road test, the driving theory test, car tips and tricks, how to turn the steering wheel, how to prepare for your driver's license, tips for newly licensed drivers, car detailing, skills tutorials. It's a lot of information. If you enjoy this information, share it, subscribe, get it out there. Guys and ladies, I will talk to you tonight. Bye.